Racetracks get their reputation due to years of events and memorable moments, and not always for their design. Fans remember racetracks due to the dramatic battles or brilliant performances, and that is what makes a racetrack appeal to the fans and keep them excited. While the 2020 season might not have happened as intended, but there were plenty of dramatic races and brilliant moments. But one off was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So why was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix such a turn-off, and why was it voted the worst F1 race in 13 years? Hi guys, today we'll discuss why was Abu Dhabi Grand Prix voted the worst race of the season. Before we start, let's go back in history and do a quick recap. So the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was announced in the early 2007s at the Abu Dhabi F1 Festival in UAE. And by the end of June 2008, the FIA would announce the provisional 2009 calendar, which featured Abu Dhabi Grand Prix as the 19th and final race of the season. However, later on that year, the season would be cut short to 17 races, but the season finale would still take place in Abu Dhabi. The inaugural race would be Formula One's first day-night race, and subsequent races will also be day-night races. The 2009 race would feature Sebastian Vettel on the top step, and for the 2010 season, the Drivers' Championship would be decided here for the first time, with championship leader Fernando Alonso losing out to Sebastian Vettel. 2011 would be an action-packed race with overtakes, battles, errors, unexpected retirements, and a McLaren finishing on top. However, in 2012, Abu Dhabi would be the 18th race of the 20-race-long calendar, but it would have a great storyline, with Seb starting from the pit lane and making his way through to finish on the final step, and his main championship rival Fernando Alonso finishing second behind Kimi Raikkonen, who won for the first time after his return to Formula One earlier in 2012. This was also the race that would feature Rosberg being launched over Karthikeyan's HRT and into the barrier. In 2013, the race would be the 17th round of the 19-race-long calendar, basically before the hybrids took over, with Mark Webber taking pole but Vettel getting a good race start and overtaking him into the first corner. 2012 race winner Kimi Raikkonen would suffer a suspension failure after his collision with Guido van der Garde. It would be an early flight for Kimi back home. Nico Hülkenberg getting a drive-through penalty for an unsafe release, different strategies from the teams, and Vettel winning with over a 30-second leads over Mark Webber would sum up the 2013 race. So now we are in the year 2014. Everything is going fine till now, isn't it? Well, not according to the FIA. In 2014, with the massive regulation changes, the Formula One management did seem to take a different approach and introduce the double point system for the final round, with the aim of forcing teams to maximize focus on the championship until the end of the season. For instance, finishing fourth in Abu Dhabi was worth almost as much as winning a race in Monaco. Although everyone saw it as a lazy approach to try and make the title battles go down till the last race, and as a cheap gimmick that risked the final standings becoming something of a lottery, but thankfully it had little to no effect on the championship standings, and the idea was eventually dropped after just one season. But here we do see Formula One's urge to do something about the final round already, because they too anticipated a boring race in future.
You are going to lose money. You're never, ever going to make it work.
However, subsequent seasons would feature the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix as the penultimate round, and no one would even bother criticizing because of the continuous battles going on throughout races and the 2016 Drivers' Championship decider between Hamilton and Rosberg going down to the last lap, followed by back-to-back decent races every season. Decent only, nothing great, but those were somehow enough to keep the fans attached to their television screens. Until 2020, when COVID-19 took over and with the 2020 season postponed, many races were cancelled, many venues changed, but the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix retained its spot on the calendar and went ahead as the final round. Kudos to the FIA and the support staff for at least giving the fans a season to cheer. But what went wrong? Despite resolving so many intriguing battles, most important of the lot being the intense fight for P3 in the constructors, Max Verstappen taking his first pole of the year and Red Bull becoming the first non-Mercedes powered team to take pole in 2020, why was it still recorded as the worst race of the year? To answer all such questions, I decided to put together some facts. The first of the many reasons would be circuit layout. While Yas Marina circuit boasts state-of-the-art facilities, but the track layout has been subjected to a lot of criticism over the years. The majority of overtaking action at the Yas Marina circuit comes at the end of the two back straights, which conclude with a heavy braking zone. Famously, in 2010, Fernando Alonso lost the World Championship to Vettel partly because he was unable to overtake the much slower Renault of Petrov. Subsequent years at Abu Dhabi have never managed to deliver an exciting spectacle to bring the season to a fitting close, and so did this year's season finale. Only 2 overtakes took place in the last 20 laps of the Grand Prix. Drivers like Esteban Ocon, Carlos Sainz Jr. and Daniel Ricciardo have suggested track layout changes to improve racing at the circuit. Esteban puts down the lack of action to the number of off-cambered corners at the venue and said adding positive cambers would be a big help for the drivers to race each other more closely. Further proof backing Ocon's claim can be found in the Tuscan Grand Prix. The revamped motorcycle track had never hosted an F1 race before, and its fast-flowing layout prompted fears that the race would become a procession. However, Mugello's banked corners allowed drivers to take different lines, which produced one of the more action-packed races on the improvised 2020 calendar. Track designer Herman Tilke,
fucking Herman Tilke, bullshit squibbly ass,
who has now become accustomed to criticism of his track designs, came out in his defense and pointed out that he had to work around limitations, such as the construction of the Yas Marina Hotel, through which the circuit passes, ended up being way bigger than originally planned, and as a result, he could not play with the camber of the corners, with which he could have built a more dynamic racetrack. Tilke might not be able to do anything now, but we feel the changes in regulations for 2022 will spice up things. After all, it's not always possible to estimate how a route develops. Drivers and Constructors Championships. Comparing Formula One's format to sports such as cricket, football, hockey, where the table toppers or league toppers qualify for the playoffs and the top two play a final match for the title, would be a bit stupid. Motorsports don't work this way. However, in other forms of motorsports such as NASCAR, Indy 500, World Endurance Championship, MotoGP, V8 Supercars, and F1's own feeder series Formula 2, development race throughout the season isn't that major. The packs stay close and wheel-to-wheel action is more evident, even at the last race. But when it comes to our favorite Formula 1, things do change a bit. Only 2 overtakes took place in the last 20 laps of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Formula 1 is arguably the pinnacle of motorsports, and Formula 1 cars are the most aerodynamically efficient race machines, and the development race makes the sport live up to its name. But with the championship decided, top 2 places already sorted, F1 bringing significant rule changes to the rear for 2021 that will reduce downforce produced by the cars, and this year being an already delayed and short season, teams shifted their focus onto next year. The only relevant fight was the fight for P3 in the constructors, but with Checo's retirement and Sir Lancelot not being a match to the McLarens and Renault's being nowhere near them, the fight for P3 was already over by lap 10 and fans again left begging for a thrilling end to the season. Expectations. With such a great season up till Abu Dhabi, with new podium sitters, new race winners, crashes and safety car, and Abu Dhabi being the third race of a day-night triple header, the expectations became quite high. And with Verstappen taking pole and drivers like Perez and Ricciardo starting outside the top 10 but on alternate strategies, it was just enough to add a spark to the excitement levels of the fan. But when nothing happened throughout the whole race and Verstappen led from start till finish with no real challenge for both the Mercedes, which was quite hard to believe, and no real fight in the midfield as well, the fans' expectations took a big hit. And not many were happy, except for the Dutch fans. They were happy to see the man win. We'll also be happy to see Lord Mahvir win a race, but he is least interested in Formula 1 nowadays. Checo's retirement. Some of you might call me crazy and turn off the video by now, but guys, hear me out once. Checo's retirement was also one of the factors in making Abu Dhabi Grand Prix a boring race. And it's not Sergio Perez's fault he retired. After all, we know these are complex machinery which can falter as well. Even the best engine on the grid can falter too, as we saw in Bahrain last time and this time in Abu Dhabi. His practice data looked promising, and by lap 9 he had already made his way up to P14 until an oil pressure leak forced him to retire. If he hadn't retired, he would definitely have put up a show with some cool overtakes, helped by his brilliant tyre management skills, and we have no doubt he would have given a tough time to both the McLarens by the final laps, and maybe with his habit of squeezing every inch of speed from the racing point, he would have made the race much more interesting. Also, his retirement resulted in an early safety car which gave ones on the softs a free pit stop and screwed the ones on alternate strategies that changed the face of the race as well. Hence, I feel Checo's early retirement was also one of the reasons for a boring race. So these were my thoughts on why the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was such a disappointing one. I'm sure some of you might have other opinions. Be sure to let us know in the comments what are your opinion on the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care and keep smiling.